Maya wiped her hands on her apron and glanced around the pool area of the luxury hotel. The sun glimmered on the water, and children's laughter filled the air. Families lounged on chairs, couples sipped drinks under umbrellas, and everything seemed perfect. To the guests, it was just another beautiful day at a five-star hotel. But for Maya, it was another long shift filled with careful smiles and polite words. She had worked at this hotel for 3 years. Every day she greeted guests with warmth, carried trays of drinks, and balanced plates of food with practiced skill. Some guests were kind, tipping generously and saying thank you with genuine smiles. Others were impatient, rude, or entitled, expecting perfection as their right. Maya had learned to take it all in stride, never letting frustration show. "Hey, Maya," a voice called from the edge of the pool. She turned and saw Daniel walking toward her, holding a small lunch bag. He smiled, his dark brown eyes full of warmth. He always came to visit her during breaks, even if only for a few minutes. "Daniel," Maya said, her tired smile brightening. "You didn't have to." "I wanted to," he said, handing her the bag. "I thought you might be hungry. You've been running around all morning." Maya accepted the lunch, feeling a small spark of joy. Daniel had always been her support, her anchor in a world that sometimes felt too heavy. He owned a small business, which kept him busy, but he always made time for her. They found a quiet corner near the pool, away from the main guests. Maya unwrapped her sandwich, grateful for the few moments of peace. "I love it when you come," she said softly. "It makes the day easier." Daniel reached for her hand. "You deserve it, Maya. You work so hard, and people don't always see how much effort you put in." "But I see it. I always see it." Maya felt a warmth in her chest. Even after all the long shifts, the stress, and the small annoyances, moments like this reminded her why she kept going. She loved her job, she loved helping people enjoy their day, and she loved Daniel for standing beside her, always. The hotel staff moved efficiently around them, carrying towels, drinks, and cleaning supplies. Maya glanced back at the pool. The sun was high, sparkling off the water like tiny diamonds. For a moment, she felt a strange sense of calm. Everything seemed ordinary, peaceful, almost perfect. But then, a group of guests approached. They were loud, laughing in a way that drew attention. Maya recognized them. They were staying at the hotel for a weekend vacation. They didn't look at her with the usual polite smile. Their eyes were sharp, their tone mocking. "Hey, waitress," one of them called, smirking. "Can you get us some drinks? And make it fast." Maya straightened her back, maintaining her calm. "Of course, sir," she said, keeping her voice polite. She knew that losing her temper would only make things worse. As she moved toward the bar, she felt Daniel's hand on her shoulder briefly, a small gesture of reassurance. He knew what was coming before she did, sensing the tension building. The group followed, still laughing and pointing. Their teasing was subtle at first, small comments about her uniform, her appearance, and the way she carried herself. Maya ignored them, focusing on her job. But the laughter grew louder, harsher, more deliberate. Maya took a deep breath, telling herself it was just part of her day. She reminded herself she had faced rudeness before and survived. She set the drinks on the tray, careful not to spill anything, and approached the group. "Here are your drinks," she said softly, placing the glasses on the table. Finally, one of them exclaimed, laughing cruelly. "Took you long enough." Maya forced a polite smile and nodded. "I'm sorry for the wait." Daniel watched from a distance, a storm of emotion crossing his face. He hated seeing Maya treated this way, and he hated feeling powerless. He wanted to step in, to defend her, but he knew that would only escalate things. All he could do was stand there and wait. Maya took a step back, ready to leave, when one of the guests leaned forward, smirking. "Careful where you step next," he said, his tone mocking. For a moment, Maya froze, sensing something was about to happen. She tried to step back, but before she could react, the man shoved her. The world tilted, and Maya fell forward into the cool water of the pool. Gasps echoed around the area. Children screamed in surprise. Guests stared, some shocked, others amused. Maya struggled to resurface, coughing and spluttering, her apron soaked and sticking to her skin. Daniel ran forward instantly, his heart pounding. Anger, fear, and disbelief crashed over him all at once. Maya's eyes met his, wide with shock and hurt. He could see the humiliation, the pain, and the injustice all at once. This was the moment everything would change. Maya struggled to get her footing in the pool, water dripping from her hair and apron. Her heart raced as she wiped water from her face. Around her, laughter and whispers filled the air. The guests who had shoved her were still smirking, as if the world was a stage for their amusement. She felt heat rise to her cheeks not just from the water, but from the humiliation. She had always held her head high, no matter what rudeness she faced at work. But this felt different. This was not just impatience or minor insults. This was deliberate, cruel, and public. Daniel reached the edge of the pool and grabbed her arm, steadying her. "Maya, are you okay?" he asked, his voice tight with anger. Maya swallowed hard, trying to hold back tears. I'm fine," she said, her voice trembling. "I just need a minute." Daniel glanced at the guests. Their laughter had quieted, replaced by uneasy murmurs as some other guests noticed the situation. Daniel felt a deep, protective anger surge inside him. He wanted to confront them, to make them understand that their behavior was unacceptable, but he restrained himself. Maya needed support, not another conflict. Maya climbed out of the pool slowly, dripping water onto the sun-warmed tiles. She tried to smooth her apron, but it clung to her wet skin. Her uniform, usually neat and professional, now looked disheveled and ruined. She felt exposed, not just physically, but emotionally. She had always prided herself on maintaining dignity, even in difficult situations. Today, that dignity had been challenged in front of everyone. "I can't believe they did this," she whispered to Daniel, her voice breaking. "I know," Daniel said softly, wrapping a towel around her shoulders. "But you didn't deserve this, Maya. Not for a single second. You've been kind, patient, and professional. You don't deserve people treating you like this." Maya tried to smile, but it was weak. "It's not just embarrassing. It's scary, Daniel. People, they think they can do anything to you." Daniel nodded, feeling the weight of every word. "We will make sure nothing like this ever happens again. I promise you, Maya. I will not let anyone treat you like this." Maya's eyes glistened as she looked at him. She could see the determination there, the promise that he would stand by her, no matter what. For a moment, the humiliation faded slightly, replaced by a spark of hope. The guests, noticing the tension and the stares from other hotel patrons, finally muttered among themselves. Some looked embarrassed. Others scowled, realizing their amusement had been noticed by more than just themselves. Yet, they didn't apologize. They didn't even seem to feel remorse. Maya took a deep breath and tried to focus on something else. She returned to the staff area, dripping wet, her apron clinging to her. She leaned against the wall, trying to calm her racing heart. Her co-workers gave her sympathetic looks, but none of them could erase the humiliation she felt. Daniel followed her, still holding the towel. He sat beside her, taking her hand gently. "You're strong, Maya. Stronger than anyone here. This doesn't define you. You are kind, smart, and amazing." Don't let them take that from you. Maya nodded, tears slipping down her cheeks. She felt a mix of relief and lingering anger. Relief because Daniel was there, because she was not alone. Anger because the guests had treated her like an object for their amusement. She wanted justice, but she also wanted to protect herself, to regain her sense of control. After a few moments, she leaned her head on Daniel's shoulder. I want it to be over, she whispered. Daniel hugged her tightly. It's not over, Maya. Not yet. But we will make it right. I promise. And you'll see, they will never have the power to humiliate you again. Maya felt a warmth in his words, a glimmer of hope. She knew that Daniel meant what he said. He was a man of action, not just words. And somehow, even through the embarrassment and the shock, she began to believe that something could change. The hotel around them continued to buzz with activity. Some guests avoided the area, while others whispered about the incident. But Maya no longer felt completely powerless. With Daniel by her side, she felt a small seed of strength growing inside her, a determination that one day, she would not just survive this, but rise above it. Daniel helped Maya to her feet, and together they walked slowly back to the staff room. The air was heavy with tension, but also charged with a sense of promise. Maya knew that this moment, painful, humiliating as it was, would be remembered, not just for the cruelty she endured, but for the courage she and Daniel would find in the days to come. And as she glanced at Daniel, she realized something important: sometimes, the people who hurt you cannot define your future. Only you and the ones who truly love and support you can do that. Maya sat on a small bench in the staff room, her wet apron still clinging to her. She tried to steady her breathing, but her hands trembled slightly. The incident at the pool played over and over in her mind, each memory sharper and heavier than the last. She had always been confident in herself, but this public humiliation had shaken her in a way she had never experienced before. Daniel sat beside her, his hand wrapped gently around hers. His presence was steady, strong, and comforting. Maya, he said softly, I want you to know something. This wasn't your fault. You didn't do anything wrong. None of it was your fault. Maya let out a shaky sigh, leaning against him. I know. I feel so small right now. Like everyone was watching, and I had no control. Daniel nodded, understanding. He had seen the pain in her eyes and the hurt in her heart. I know, he said. But listen to me. You are not small. You are strong. You are kind, brave, and talented. Don't let what they did take that from you. Maya wiped a tear from her cheek. I want to believe that, Daniel. But it hurts. It hurts to think that people can treat others so badly and get away with it. Daniel took a deep breath, his mind already racing with ideas. You're right. People shouldn't be able to get away with this. And they won't. Not if we do something about it. Maya looked up at him, curiosity and hope mixing with her lingering fear. Do you mean, taking action? What can we do? I don't want to make things worse. Daniel squeezed her hand. We won't make things worse. We will do it carefully. I've been thinking, if we can find a way to change things from the top, then no one can ever treat you or anyone else like this again. Maya blinked, unsure what he meant. From the top? How? Daniel leaned closer, speaking quietly so no one in the staff room could overhear. The hotel, the way it works, it's owned by people who don't care about the staff. They care about money and image. But if someone who cares, someone fair and respectful owned it, everything could change. Everyone would be treated with respect. No one would ever humiliate anyone like that again. Maya's eyes widened. Are you saying, you would, buy the hotel? Daniel nodded, his expression firm but calm. I'm saying we could. I've been saving and investing carefully for years. I can make it happen. I want to make sure you and all the staff are safe. That no one ever has to feel the way you felt today. Maya felt a mix of disbelief, hope, and cautious excitement. The idea seemed almost impossible, yet the determination in Daniel's eyes was undeniable. He had always been practical, smart, and patient. If he said he could do it, she believed him. But, Daniel, she said softly, it's so big. The hotel, it's huge. How could anyone even think of buying it? Daniel smiled gently, brushing a strand of wet hair from her face. It will take planning. Time. Patience. But it's possible. And more importantly, it's right. You don't have to stay afraid or embarrassed. We can turn this around. We can make things fair and safe not just for you, but for everyone who works here. Maya's chest tightened with emotion. The anger and hurt from the pool had not faded, but now it was mixed with a small spark of hope. Maybe this humiliation could become something else, a chance for change, for justice, for dignity. She rested her head on Daniel's shoulder. I want that. I want to feel safe again. I want no one to ever treat anyone like that. Daniel nodded, pressing a gentle kiss to her forehead. Then we'll do it together. Step by step. We won't rush, and we'll make sure it's done the right way. But I promise you, Maya, things will never be the same for the better. Maya looked at him, her eyes shimmering with both tears and determination. Together, she whispered. For the next few minutes, they sat quietly, hands intertwined. Outside the staff room, the hotel continued to hum with life. Guests lounged by the pool, unaware of the emotional storm that had just passed. But inside that small room, a plan was already forming, a plan that would turn a moment of humiliation into a future of power, respect, and dignity. Maya finally straightened, wiping the last tears from her cheeks. Okay, she said. We'll do it. Let's start planning. But, promise me something. Daniel raised an eyebrow, smiling softly. Anything. Promise me, that we won't lose ourselves in anger. That we do this for something good, not just to get back at them. Daniel nodded solemnly. I promise. This is about respect, fairness, and dignity. Nothing else. We will do it right. Maya took a deep breath, feeling strength return to her body and mind. The embarrassment of the pool, the laughter of the cruel guests, the humiliation, they were still there, lingering, but they no longer controlled her. Now, she had purpose. She had Daniel. And she had hope. Outside, the sun continued to shine on the sparkling pool. Inside, Maya and Daniel began the quiet work of planning a plan that would change everything, not just for them, but for everyone at the hotel. This was the beginning of something new. Something powerful. Something fair. And for Maya, it was the first time she truly felt that justice was possible. The next morning, Daniel woke early, determination etched on his face. Maya was still asleep, the events of the previous day heavy in her dreams, but Daniel was already planning. He knew that if they wanted justice, if they wanted to ensure Maya and the staff were never humiliated again, they had to act carefully and strategically. He brewed coffee and spread papers across the kitchen table. Financial documents, notes on hotel ownership, and potential contacts filled the space. Daniel had been saving for years, making smart investments and careful decisions. Today, all that preparation would finally have a purpose. When Maya walked into the kitchen, her hair damp from a quick shower, she paused at the sight. Daniel looked focused, determined, a spark in his eyes that she hadn't seen before. Morning, she said softly, rubbing her eyes. Morning, Daniel replied without looking up. Sit down. We need to talk about what we're going to do. Maya perched on the edge of a chair, still hesitant but curious. Are you really serious about this? About buying the hotel? Daniel nodded. Yes. I've thought it through. I know it's a lot of money. I know it's risky. But it's possible. And more importantly, it's the right thing to do. I want to make this hotel a place where staff are respected, where no one has to feel afraid, embarrassed, or powerless. Maya's heart swelled with hope, mixed with fear. I want that too. I'm afraid it might not work. Or that it will take too long. Daniel reached across the table and took her hand. We'll do it step by step. I've already started contacting financial advisors, banks, and legal experts. If we plan carefully, we can make this happen faster than you think. And every step will bring us closer to making the hotel a safe place for everyone. Maya nodded, feeling a sense of purpose rising inside her. For the first time since the incident, she didn't feel powerless. She felt part of something meaningful. Daniel began explaining his plan. First, they needed to understand the ownership structure of the hotel. Who owned it? Were there investors? Could someone buy enough shares or negotiate a sale? He had spent the night making calls, gathering information, and he now had a clear path forward. Maya listened carefully, impressed by his organization and focus. She realized that Daniel's strength was not just in his words, but in his action. He didn't just promise change, he was creating it. Over the next few days, Daniel worked tirelessly. He met with financial advisors, negotiated with lawyers, and explored all possible ways to acquire the hotel. Maya watched him from the sidelines, offering encouragement and small gestures of support, bringing him coffee, helping organize documents, and keeping his spirits up. One evening, as the sun set outside their apartment window, Maya found Daniel leaning back in his chair, exhausted but smiling. We have a chance, he said quietly. We can make this happen. Maya felt tears prick her eyes. It feels amazing. But scary too. Daniel reached for her hand. It is scary. But it's worth it. Think about it, Maya. No one will ever humiliate you again. No one will ever treat the staff poorly. We're not just changing our lives. We're changing the lives of everyone who works here. Maya nodded, a new determination building inside her. Then let's do it, she said firmly. Let's make it happen. The following week was a whirlwind of activity. Daniel juggled meetings, calls, and negotiations while Maya returned to work, carrying herself with quiet strength. The guests from the incident were still at the hotel, unaware of the storm brewing behind the scenes. Maya didn't think about them much anymore. She focused on the staff, on her duties, and on the promise of a new beginning. Daniel's persistence paid off. He identified an opportunity to acquire the majority shares of the hotel. It would take careful negotiation and financial precision, but he had the experience and the resources to make it happen. One evening, Daniel and Maya sat together in their small living room, going over the final steps. This is it, Daniel said, a mixture of excitement and nervousness in his voice. Once the deal goes through, the hotel will be ours. And we can finally ensure that everyone is treated with respect and dignity. Maya smiled, her heart full of hope. I can't believe it, we're really going to do this. Daniel nodded. Yes. And it's not just about the hotel. It's about justice, fairness, and showing that people who are kind, patient, and hard-working like you deserve to be respected. This is our chance to make a real difference. As they held hands, looking out at the city lights, Maya felt a sense of relief and empowerment she hadn't felt in years. The pool incident, the humiliation, and the fear, it was all behind her now. They were taking control of their lives, and nothing could stop them. The hotel, once a place of anxiety and humiliation, was about to become a symbol of strength, fairness, and dignity. And for Maya and Daniel, it was the beginning of a new chapter, one where courage, love, and determination would guide every step. The morning sunlight streamed through the tall windows of Daniel's office, glinting off stacks of documents and a small cup of coffee. Daniel sat at his desk, tapping his pen against the table, heart pounding with a mix of excitement and nervousness. Today was the day. After weeks of planning, negotiations, and careful preparation, the purchase of the hotel was finally about to be finalized. Maya stood by the window, her hands clasped together, trying to calm the fluttering in her chest. She felt a strange mixture of disbelief and hope. It seemed almost impossible that the hotel, the same place where she had been humiliated, could soon belong to Daniel and her. But she trusted him completely. She knew the countless hours he had spent, the sleepless nights, the determination he had poured into making this a reality. "Are you ready?" Daniel asked, glancing at her. His voice was calm, but his eyes revealed the excitement he was trying to contain. Maya nodded, a small smile breaking across her face. "I think so. I can't believe we're really doing this." Daniel took a deep breath and picked up the phone. He made the final call to the legal team, confirming the transfer of ownership. As he spoke, Maya could see the weight of the past weeks lift from his shoulders. Finally, the moment they had both dreamed of was here. A few hours later, Daniel hung up the phone and leaned back in his chair, a triumphant smile spreading across his face. "It's done," he said softly. "The hotel is ours." Maya's eyes widened, and for a moment she couldn't speak. Her hands trembled as she reached for Daniel's. We really did it?" Daniel nodded, squeezing her hand. "Yes, Maya. We did it. And now, things are going to be different. You will never have to worry about anyone treating you unfairly here again." The couple walked through the hotel together, stepping into the grand lobby that had once felt cold and intimidating. Staff members glanced at them curiously, noticing the confident smiles on their faces. Maya felt a surge of pride as she realized what this meant not just for her, but for everyone who worked here. Daniel stopped at the edge of the pool, the same pool where Maya had been humiliated just days before. He looked down at the sparkling water and then back at her. "This place is going to change, Maya. Everyone will be treated with respect. Everyone will feel safe. And no one will ever get away with cruelty again." Maya nodded, tears forming in her eyes. The memory of the shove, the laughter of the guests, the embarrassment, it all still lingered. But now, it was mixed with a powerful sense of justice. She realized that they had turned a painful moment into an opportunity to make a real difference. The staff soon gathered in the lobby as Daniel and Maya addressed them. Maya felt her heart swell with pride as she watched her co-workers listen intently. "We have a new beginning," Daniel said, his voice steady and warm. "From this day forward, this hotel will be a place of respect, fairness, and kindness. No one will ever have to feel humiliated or unsafe here again. This is not just my promise, it is our promise to all of you." Applause filled the room, and Maya felt a sense of relief and happiness she had never known. The staff members smiled at her, some nodding in quiet approval, others whispering words of encouragement. For the first time, she felt truly respected not just by Daniel, but by the entire team. Maya turned to Daniel, her eyes shining. "Thank you," she whispered. "For believing in me, for believing in us." Daniel smiled, brushing a strand of hair from her face. "No, Maya. Thank you for trusting me. We did this together. And now, we get to make this hotel a place where everyone can feel proud to work." As the day went on, Maya and Daniel walked through every corner of the hotel, meeting staff members and listening to their stories. Some shared small complaints from the past long hours, rude guests, unfair treatment, but Maya realized that with Daniel in charge, these issues could finally be addressed. She felt a sense of empowerment growing inside her. The hotel was no longer just a workplace, it was a symbol of justice, fairness, and hope. That evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon, Maya and Daniel sat by the pool, the water reflecting the golden light. The air was filled with quiet laughter from guests enjoying the hotel, but for Maya, the scene felt different now. The pool no longer reminded her of humiliation, it reminded her of strength, resilience, and the power of love and determination. "We've really changed things," Maya said softly, leaning against Daniel. "Yes," he replied, wrapping an arm around her. "And this is just the beginning. The best part is that now, everyone here will feel the same respect and dignity that you deserve, Maya." She smiled, finally feeling at peace. The hotel, once a place of pain, was now a place of hope. And for Maya and Daniel, it was the start of a new chapter, a chapter of justice, empowerment, and love that would continue to grow with each passing day. The hotel felt different that morning. The staff moved with a sense of pride, their heads held a little higher, their smiles brighter. Maya walked through the hallways, feeling a strange warmth in her chest. Everything had changed, not just the ownership, but the atmosphere. Respect and fairness now flowed through the hotel like sunlight through the windows. Daniel walked beside her, checking on staff and listening to their feedback. He moved confidently, approachable yet firm, ensuring everyone knew that things would be different from now on. Maya noticed how people smiled at him, not just out of respect, but because they could feel the sincerity in his words. When the group of guests who had humiliated Maya arrived at the hotel that day, there was an unmistakable shift in energy. Daniel had already been informed of their presence, and he was ready not with anger, but with authority. Maya felt a mixture of nervousness and anticipation as they approached the lobby. Their smug expressions seemed smaller somehow, less important than before. She realized that the power dynamic had changed. The hotel was no longer theirs to control. Daniel stepped forward, greeting them politely but firmly. "Good morning," he said, his calm voice carrying through the lobby. "I understand you stayed here recently. I want to ensure that all guests and staff are treated with respect at all times. This is a standard we take very seriously." The guests exchanged uneasy glances. Some tried to act nonchalant, but Maya could see that the confidence that once seemed effortless had faded. Daniel continued, outlining the hotel's new policies on respect and conduct. He spoke clearly, explaining that harassment or cruelty toward staff would not be tolerated. Maya watched silently, her heart swelling. She realized that the guests were finally seeing the consequences of their actions. They could no longer rely on intimidation or mockery. The hotel had become a place of justice, and their behavior no longer had any power over her or anyone else. After the meeting, the guests nodded stiffly and retreated to their rooms. Maya felt a sense of relief and satisfaction. It wasn't about revenge, it was about showing that respect and dignity were not optional. She had endured humiliation, but now she stood tall, supported by Daniel and the new rules that would protect everyone. Later that afternoon, Daniel and Maya gathered the staff in the lounge. Maya stood in front of the group, feeling proud as she shared her own experience. She spoke of the embarrassment, the fear, and the pain, but also of the hope and strength that had followed. "We have the power to make this hotel a place of fairness," Maya said, her voice steady. "No one should ever feel afraid or humiliated here. We are all part of something bigger, something that shows kindness and respect can win." Applause filled the room. Staff members smiled, some wiping away tears, others nodding in agreement. Daniel looked at Maya with pride, knowing how strong she had been through everything. As the day went on, Maya noticed small changes that made her heart lighter. Guests approached her politely, tipping generously, thanking her sincerely. Colleagues greeted her warmly, and the atmosphere buzzed with positivity. For the first time in years, Maya felt completely safe and valued at work. That evening, as the hotel quieted down, Daniel and Maya walked to the edge of the pool. The water reflected the soft orange glow of the setting sun, and the gentle breeze carried the faint scent of flowers from the garden. "You did it," Daniel, Maya said softly, leaning against him. You changed everything. We changed everything. Daniel smiled, wrapping an arm around her. No, Maya. You did it too. You showed courage. You never gave up. You let me help you turn a terrible moment into something better. Maya smiled, feeling a warmth she hadn't felt since the incident. She realized that the humiliation, the fear, and the pain were no longer the center of her story. Now, strength, dignity, and hope were. For the first time, Maya felt fully in control not just of her own life, but of the environment around her. The hotel had become a symbol of fairness, a place where kindness was stronger than cruelty. And as they stood by the pool, watching the gentle ripples in the water, Maya felt a sense of peace she had never known before. Daniel had not only protected her, but he had also transformed the space where the pain had happened into a place of safety and pride. That night, Maya slept soundly for the first time in days. She dreamed not of embarrassment, but of possibility. The hotel, once a place of fear, had become a beacon of justice. And in her heart, she knew that nothing could ever take that away. For Maya and Daniel, justice had been served not with anger, but with action. And the lessons of courage, fairness, and love would continue to guide them, both at work and in life. The hotel hummed with life, but it was different now, lighter, warmer, and more welcoming. The laughter of children by the pool, the chatter of families in the lobby, and the gentle clinking of glasses in the restaurant all blended into a pleasant symphony. Maya walked through the hallways, her steps confident, her head held high. For the first time, she truly felt at home at work. The pool no longer reminded her of humiliation, it reminded her of courage and the power of change. Guests greeted her politely, and staff members smiled warmly, a sense of camaraderie filling every corner of the hotel. Daniel followed close behind, his presence calm yet commanding. He moved through the hotel with quiet authority, checking in with staff and guests alike. The hotel had been transformed not just in ownership, but in spirit. Respect, fairness, and kindness now flowed through every hallway, every room, and every interaction. Maya paused near the lobby, watching a young waitress serve a family with a smile. The girl reminded Maya of herself on her first day, nervous but eager to do her best. Maya stepped forward, offering encouragement. "You're doing great," she said softly. "Keep smiling. People notice kindness more than you think." The girl looked up, her eyes brightening. "Thank you, ma'am. That means a lot." Maya smiled, feeling warmth spread through her chest. She realized that the hotel had become more than a workplace, it was a place where people could feel valued and supported. And she had a part in creating that. Later, Daniel and Maya sat together by the pool, watching the sun dip below the horizon. The water reflected the soft orange and pink hues, rippling gently with the evening breeze. It was peaceful, almost magical. "You know," Maya said softly, leaning against Daniel, "I never thought I could feel this, happy at work again. I thought that day at the pool would stay with me forever." Daniel smiled, brushing a strand of hair from her face. "It could have stayed that way, if we had let it. But we didn't. We turned pain into purpose. You let me help you, and together we changed things. Not just for us, but for everyone here." Maya nodded, feeling tears prick her eyes. "It feels like a fresh start. A real new beginning." Daniel wrapped his arm around her shoulder, pulling her close. "It is. And it's just the beginning of many good things. We've shown that courage, love, and determination can make a real difference." As they sat in silence, the gentle sounds of the hotel surrounding them, Maya reflected on how far they had come. The embarrassment, the humiliation, the fear, it had all happened, yes, but it had also sparked a change that would last far longer than a single bad moment. The hotel had become a place where dignity mattered, where every staff member felt protected, and where kindness ruled over cruelty. In the following weeks, Maya noticed more changes. Staff members were more confident, guests were treated politely, and the hotel had earned a reputation for excellence and fairness. Even the families visiting the hotel seemed to sense the positive atmosphere. Everyone who worked there, Maya realized, now had a voice and a place where they could feel safe. One evening, after a long day, Daniel and Maya hosted a small gathering for the staff. They brought snacks and drinks, and everyone gathered near the pool, chatting and laughing. Daniel gave a short speech, highlighting how proud he was of the staff and emphasizing that respect and fairness would always guide their work. Maya watched the scene, feeling a sense of fulfillment she had never known. She realized that the pool, once a place of pain, had become a symbol of resilience and hope. Every ripple in the water reflected not just the sunlight, but the courage, determination, and love that she and Daniel had poured into creating this new beginning. After the celebration, Daniel and Maya walked alone by the pool. The stars began to appear in the sky, twinkling softly. Maya leaned her head against Daniel's shoulder. "Do you ever think about that day?" she asked quietly. Daniel nodded. "Sometimes. But now it's just a memory. What matters is what we've done since then." Maya smiled. "Yes. And what we will keep doing." Daniel squeezed her hand. "Exactly. We've shown that one bad moment doesn't define your life. Courage, love, and action can change everything. And this," he gestured to the hotel, the pool, and the staff around them, "this is proof." Maya felt her heart swell. She realized that humiliation, fear, and pain were not the end of her story. They were the beginning of something greater. She had learned that courage and love, when paired with determination, could create real change. And with Daniel by her side, she knew they could face anything together. The hotel glowed under the moonlight, peaceful and beautiful. Maya and Daniel stood hand in hand, knowing that the future held promise, hope, and endless possibilities. The past had been painful, but the present was strong, and the future was bright. Together, they had turned a moment of humiliation into a story of empowerment, respect, and love. And as they looked at the stars above, Maya whispered softly, "This is our new beginning." Daniel smiled, pulling her close. "Yes, it is. And it will be a beautiful journey, every step of the way." The pool shimmered quietly under the moonlight, reflecting not just the stars above, but the courage, hope, and love that had transformed everything. For Maya and Daniel, it was more than a hotel, it was a symbol of triumph, justice, and a future full of promise.